Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am launching a brand new TBR game. Now initially we had TBR cards because they were nice and easy to make. Then we had racing stacks because my brother was doing a games development course and why not make my life more complicated. And now we have another virtual game, except it is more complicated, it is more terrifying, but silver lining, you now also get an opportunity to play. Now, we have made it so that the prompts are a little more vague than they were because they were specifically for my shelf, whereas now you can play. It is all linked down below if you want to have a go at playing After Hours yourself, but just a cheeky explanation as to how this game will work for you. Now, if you don't know, I own a bookshop. It is called Waypoint Books, and basically I force my agenda on my clients where I tell them about books that I have read that I absolutely adored, and then they buy them from me. This is essentially Waypoint Books, but after hours. You are a cute little wizard because the artwork was available, and it feels very, very like Stardew Valley, so I'm here for it anyway. Essentially, you have snuck into Waypoint Books after hours, and the lights are going out, so you have 90 seconds to collect as many books as you can through the stacks of Waypoint. So with that in mind, I have 90 seconds to try and collect as many books as possible. Now, they are color coordinated, so each book will have a different color depending on what genre it is, and that will be quite clear. I'm not going to go into each genre, but I will leave them in the description down below if you're looking for specific colors and you want to read specific genres. Now, if your 90 seconds runs out, you lose a life, and because I had a habit of making myself do this 3 times and taking my last one, if you run out of all 3 lives, that's it. That's your TBR. There is no resetting, there is no playing again. I mean, there is, obviously, you can play it as many times as you like, but there won't be for me anyway. So when the 90 seconds is coming to an end, you will notice that the lights go out. Suddenly the game becomes a lot more terrifying. Just to preface this, I'm still really bad at this game. Like, it's a brand new game, and we found a way for me to be bad at it from the off. So love that for me. There are a couple of books that I need to have in this TBR regardless of what I land in After Hours, but I'm hoping to aim for a lot of fantasy and a lot of romance because it is 𝚘𝚘. It is also Alice from Mythically Melancholy, or Mythic Melancholy. They are doing a monster fucking readathon over on their channel, so I'm hoping to find a nice combo of the two. It is also my birthday month, so I will be spending a lot of time sprinting because I'm house sitting for someone, so I'm not going to be in my own home, and I will miss my friends greatly. So for that reason, we're aiming for fantasy and romance. Now, I know for sure that romance is pink. Cannot remember for the life of me what colour I put for fantasy. It was either yellow or blue, but we'll find out in the game. So we'll cut to the clip of me playing this game terribly, and then I will tell you all about the books that I picked for my February TBR. Now, Kieran did change this because originally it was just the WASD keys that you could move in different directions, except I'm not a gamer, so I'm not used to using this hand for anything other than holding my phone whilst I text. So I am right-handed, so I will be using the up, down, left, right keys to play. So here we are. Oh, perfect. Romance, straight from the off. It feels very much like I'm playing that Pokemon game, or any Pokemon game, like the old Nintendo games. So, okay, thriller and mystery is yellow, noted. So maybe it is blue. I'm not really interested in reading any thrillers or mysteries this month, which is not like, I picked one up anyway. There we go. Literary fiction is green. This is what I mean about me being terrible at this. Okay, fantasy and sci-fi is blue. I was right. So there is one. Let's try and get there. Like I said, I'm not good at this game, but I'm very here for supporting friends and their amazing creations. And if you want to give Kieran a little bit of love on Twitter, he is known as like Games Dev Kieran or something like Develop Kieran. Again, I will put his details down below in the description because he also deserves a shout out. Now, as much as I didn't really fancy a thriller, let's add a gothic because I feel like there are quite a few gothics that cover the 𝚘𝚘 prompts anyway. Middle grade, because why not have a palette cleanser? I don't want literary or contemporary. You will probably not find me choosing those. I may bump into them occasionally like I did with, and here we see the lights are going out and I'm starting to panic. Oh my god, right. I know for a fact I don't have 10 books because that is the set number on my list. Oh my god. Oh, it's so scary. It's so scary because I can't see where I'm going. Oh no. I'm trying. Oh my god, it's so dark. Oh no. Okay. Okay. That's one life gone. Right. I have no idea. It also regenerates where you start, I think. So it certainly regenerates all the books if you lose a life. So love that for me. Another literary, not interested. Historical fiction, gothic, but it's the wrong side of the wall, because of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Kieran did give me initially a copy of this map, but I have actively not looked at it because I don't want to necessarily learn the route. That's not really how I want to play the game. But if you do want a copy of it, just let me know, because I'm sure I can find it and like send it to you. It is cheating. I will say that it is cheating by doing that, but I'm here for cheating. There's another romance. I should be very close to my 10 by now. And this works very much the same way as Racing Stacks, where you pick a genre and then you're given a prompt to read in that genre. So hopefully I've got some good prompts. That room is just completely empty. How rude. Non-fiction, not for me, not for February. I don't know why I did that voice. I just did. And there's another romance. There we go. Perfect. So we have romance, friends to lovers. One of the greatest tropes in romance. Thriller mystery, ash, smoke, fire in the title. That might be tricky because I think I've read most of mine, but I should have some others, otherwise I wouldn't have put it in this list. Romance, highest rated. Love that. Fantasy, ugly cover. Brilliant. Ugly cover. Love that. Gothic fiction, black cover, a classic. Middle grade, multiple POV. Okay. Romance, booktuber's worst book of the previous year. Okay. Just when I thought this new game would help me out, it has done me dirty right at the start. Gothic fiction, topical subject. Okay. Well, that's pretty much anything to do with feminism, colorism, racism. Okay, yeah, that's doable. Romance, LGBT characters, we love to see it. And romance, graphic novel. Okay, I have a couple of graphic novels that would work for that. I could do Lore Olympus, but I'm kind of hoping that all of them come out first and then I can binge read them. So that one might be slightly tricky. It is doable. It's absolutely doable. It's just whether I want to do it in Feb. Okay, this is a great TBR, to be fair. I'm not mad at it. We've got lots of romance, very little fantasy, but I'm sure I can find a way to build up that. That should be a problem. The one that worries me, it was clear from my face, the one that worries me is the booktuber's worst book of the previous year. So what worries me is the romance booktubers that I do follow have really great taste. So if they didn't like it, it's going to be bad. So don't love that for me. I don't love that for me. But we'll see. Right, I'm going to go away, pick my books, and then I will tell you what I'm picking. I'll tell you what I'm planning on reading in Feb. So I've got my list of books. I've got 2 chunky piles of books that I plan on reading in Feb. So let's go through them. Now, starting with the ones that are books that I have to read this month. I'm planning a really big vlog. And I need to start with Pride and Prejudice for that vlog. It will be really obvious if you have seen my own TBR what that vlog will be, but I want to start with this one. She is hefty, but I will be doing this as a partial audiobook, so it shouldn't be too difficult. That's vlog number 1. Vlog number 2 includes A Dark Inheritance, which is the February Lunar Library book pick, and it also includes Self-Made Boys. Now, I'm not going to include any spoilers about either of these, but there is a key theme that links both of these, so I will be doing a vlog for those as well. I will be reading the second in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series for our read-along, having literally just started book 1 and having the live show next week. This will probably be one of the last books that I read of the month, but I do plan on reading it in Feb. Then, I can't find it. Where did I put it? Somewhere, I have a copy of Wish You Weren't Here, which is a middle grade ghost story that I plan on reading for Total Bollocks. But I can't find it. I don't know where it is. So if I don't find it, I won't be able to read that and I'll be reading something else. But that's fine because I do have other middle grades in this list. So, starting with the first romance pick, which was Friends to Lovers. I am TBRing How to Be Popular by Meg Cabot. This is about a young girl who really wants to be popular, really wants to be noticed by the cute boys at school, but she isn't cool, she isn't popular at all, but she finds this book in a charity shop that is all about how to be popular, and she basically learns to manipulate people and make them like her more. Now, I know there is a friends to lovers romance in this because I've read it before, so I'm really looking forward to picking this up again. It was one of the ones that I had planned to read for my rereading your kids' favourites vlog, and I just didn't get around to it, but I am trying to reread as many Mek Cabot books as possible, so that's the first one on the list. Next is a thriller with ash, burning or smoke, with ash, fire or smoke. I'm going to allow myself burning as well, simply because I don't have any thrillers with any of those words in, and I was tempted to swap it for like a romance or something else like that, so it still had the word in it, but I'm going to be going with The Burning Girls by CJ Tudor. Now, I think this might be more of a horror than a thriller, and I also know for a fact that I've left my copy back in Folkestone, but I'm heading to Folkestone, so that's not a problem. I will be there for like 2.5 weeks, so I will be able to find my copy and read it then. I don't know much about this. I know that this was originally a Lamentable Library book. It was one of the few, there was like 2 or 3 that I didn't get to, and this was on that list. So now's a great chance for me to pick that up again. Love that for me. Then we had Romance Highest Rated. Now, I say it like that because I was quite surprised that this was my highest rated, and that might have something to do with the fact that whilst I have updated my Goodreads own TBR list, I haven't updated it fully. Like, I've added a few of them, but there are some missing, and therefore Autobiography by Christine Lauren came up top, which really surprised me. I'm not mad about it. This is a TBR vet, so just by reading this, I will be able to put a new book onto my shelf. And I did really enjoy The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, so I guess I'm picking this up now. How exciting. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I'm quite excited to go in completely blind. Then we have Fantasy Ugly Cover. Now, I have technically TBR'd this before as a TBR vet, and I have talked about how fucking ugly this cover is. I'm going to be reading Babylon Steel. You might know it as Bad Gods. That new cover's not much better. Firstly, shiny. What is that? This is such a weird book, and I need to read it and get rid of it, or read it and keep it and make my final decision, because I read it years ago. But that cover is not great. That is a very 80s cover. It fits the prompt, and I'm going to read it. I'm going to do my best to read it. Next is a gothic read with a black cover. I will be reading Of Light and Darkness, which is a vampire fairy tale, so a kind of mixture of gothic and fairy tale. And this was gifted to me by Kat. This is one of the ones that I will try to read for the Monster Readathon that Ali is hosting. I don't know if it's going to have any of the tropes in it specifically, but I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping it does. Next was Middle Grade POV, and I will be reading Vampirates Volume 2. Now, I have tried to read this before. I really enjoyed Vampirates Volume 1, but Vampirates Volume 2 was a slog, and I don't think I got very far in it when I gave up last time. I got to page 14 last time that I tried. Haven't tried since. If I don't like it and I can't get into it, that is 5 books that I'm unhauling, because there's no point. There's no point me constantly trying with this series if I'm not enjoying it. So I will start again. We'll see if we can get past 14 pages, because so much of it was just info dump from the first book, and I had just read the first book, so I didn't care. But if not, I'll be unhauling a whole bunch of books, which would be great for my TBR challenge. That's kind of why I picked that one. That, and because I know it's multiple POV, I've read it before. Next is a BookTuber's worst romance of 2022, and I will be reading Hook, Line and Sinker. Jamie from Jamie's Library put this in their most disappointing reads of 2022 video, and it was the first. I watched about 8 or 9 videos trying to find ones where there were actually romances that I owned, and this was like the first one that I saw that I owned. And Jamie did say that one of the things they didn't like about it was that this is a friends to lovers trope, which is not their favourite. Now, I do enjoy a friends to lovers trope. I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm quite looking forward to picking this one up. Here's hoping I like it more than Jamie did. Next, with Gothic, a topical subject. Now, I had a lot of opportunities to find books that were about feminism or racism and things like that. I do have those on my shelves. However, I really like the fact that this one was about this woman aging and feeling that she's finally like time to retire. And whilst that isn't topical for me, my parents are looking towards retirement, the world we live in is on fire, and I quite like the idea of reading a book about a female assassin. So all of that combined to me picking this book up. Now, this was given to me by Olivia. This was part of her unhaul. I think either because this is a proof or because she's got duplicates, and not because she didn't like it. So I've got quite high hopes for this one. This is The Old Woman with a Knife, which again, woman of colour, assassin, it sounds really intriguing. Another book that I think Olivia will appreciate me having on my list was, the prompt was LGBT romance, okay? So I'm putting both of these on my TBR because I don't feel like I can read one and not the other. If I really enjoy the first one, if I don't enjoy them, I will not be telling Olivia. I will be sneaking out the back door. No one will ever know. But I'm really hoping that I will like both of these. Olivia gave me husband material because she had a dupe, and I went out and bought boyfriend material because you can't read the second one without reading the first one. That would be a crime, quite frankly. So this is an LGBT romance. I'm really excited to get to it. And of course I also bought Paris Dalincourt is About to Crumble, which is another LGBT romance by Alexis Hall. So if I finish these and I still have time and I don't want to read anything else that I've got, which is a possibility because I do tend to change my mind, I've got a spare. And then the last book on Feb's TBR is my romance graphic novel. I didn't really have like a straight romance that wasn't Lore Olympus. And like I said, I didn't really want to read those yet until I've got all of them and I can kind of just go through the whole thing. So I will be reading Violent Love, which is far more of like a historical thriller than it is a romance, but there is a budding romance between these two. Now this is about two gangsters who are vicious people, but it's being told retrospectively by the police officer who basically was chasing them, talking to a young woman who there is spoilers for in book 1. This is volume 2. I'm really excited to see how this is continued, and it has romantic elements in it. So I'm allowing it. I know it's cheating a little bit, but I'm allowing it. And I could have read Saga as well because there is romance in that, but I don't want to cry in Feb because it's my birthday month, and who wants to cry during their birthday month? How bleak. I will be 31 in officially 12 days. Terrifying. Being 30 has been fine. No one's really noticed. No one's really commented on it. I did think it would be more of a bigger deal when you turn 30, but not really. Let me know in the comments down below, what book are you most excited to get to in Feb? Treat yourself to something from Waypoint because it supports me and my content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and most importantly, have a nice day.